Last sales meeting of the year. Woo. We are fired up, ready to go. 2021 is about to come to an end.
I got to do my 100 push-ups, right?
Oh, wow. I didn't even put that in the slides. Yeah, can we do it right now?
No.
Can we move the cameras around?
I'll do it later. I'll do it at Christmas party.
It'll happen. Oh, did y'all hear that? Holiday party. All right, so that's on Thursday.
Yes.
I just realized I didn't even put a slide in there for that.
Thursday.
Should have done that. So Thursday,
St.
I
Hell.
hope you're going. I know there's a lot of stuff going on this time of year, but this is a really fun time. Rachel has worked her tail off along with the help of some agents and other staff to really make this a huge success. So please join. These are one of those moments where sometimes I get in the holidays, it's like you've got event after event, and then you think, oh, I don't know, I could just skip one of them, right?
This isn't the one to skip.
This is not the one to skip. And you end up going and you had a great time and you never know what you're going to learn. You never know who you're going to see. My first year in the business, all of my business, the entire first year, do you know where it came from?
The holiday party?
The holiday, no, well, I wasn't even an agent yet, so I didn't get invited to the holiday party. But it was all from holiday parties.
Oh, yeah. Great time.
I was people, you reconnect with people and they were like, what are you up to? I'm like, well, I'm getting into the real estate business. Really? Oh, well, we just got married or we're up to, we're thinking about buying a house and tell us more about that. So, all of them. So that was pretty cool. The bad news is time flies. Good news is you're the pilot.
I like that. That's a good one.
Isn't that right? So we're going to talk a little bit about time management today as we're getting into 2022.
It just dawned on me. You just said something about the holiday party and you're connecting with people, and I think sometimes agents, not all the time, but sometimes agents are too coy with what they do for a living. It's like, what are you up to, or what do you do work-wise? Yeah. And they're like, I'm do a little real estate. They mention it, and it's like I was with somebody recently who was in that kind of party setting, and he said. Someone said, so where do you work? And he said, I'm a residential realtor. Just boom, hit it, Yeah. And I was like, the guy knew exactly what he did, right? And that opened up more conversation.
Yeah.
So just be direct.
Really? How's the market? What part of town do you work in?
It's led to all of that. But if you'd been like, well, I'll do some investing and I help the people with the real estate, it's like, don't do that.
There's no shame in it.
No.
At least to
I help people find great real estate deals. That's what I do.
I help people move. Oh, you're a mover? No. No, they have to call someone else for that. But I set it up so they can move. I got a lot of things I'm thankful for. What are y'all thankful for today? I'm not going to start with Hunter today. I'm going to start with y'all.
Thank you.
What kind of gratitudes do you have? December 16th, right? Or 14th? December 14th today. The party's on December 16th. I got that in my mind. Lee, you're feeling grateful over there. You're just looking grateful.
Always. Tomorrow's the last day for ordering your Christmas presents if they want to be here by Christmas. So I'm thankful that I have to wear everything today. I don't know, the Christmas party.
That's good.
You know what I'm thankful for? And we all need to remember this too, I think. We've got, so our business, and a lot of your business has grown and doubled, but our, Village's agents volume, your volume has basically doubled over the last year and a half. And
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and that's a lot to be grateful for you. But also we've been doing that with the same staff here that's just been working really hard and throughout the whole year, and so it's worth pausing and reflecting on how awesome of a job they all did.
I think we should be grateful for our staff. It's good. We got a good crew.
Got a good crew.
Yeah. Talked to Kendra and Franklin yesterday. It was her birthday.
Yeah.
So she had a good day. So I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for just time with my family. These tornadoes there's a lot of really tough news and watching some really scary scenes, and it's just a good reminder. Just hug my kids, hug my wife, and just be glad for what we have and grateful for what we have. I think it's so easy to be flippant about that, but when you see something like that happen, it's just a reminder that, gosh, crazy things can happen, and So hopefully everybody can keep all those tornado victims on their mind and their families. It's a really tough time for that to happen. And we are the volunteer state, so there's a lot of ways you can look at Hands on Nashville. You can look at there's plenty of websites out there that there's support that's needed. I was reading this guy who had a big barbecue pit, and he just rolled on up into Mayfield the next day and just loaded his truck down with all kinds of food, and he just started cooking. He didn't know who was going to be coming. Yeah. He just started cooking. It's pretty awesome. So grateful for people like that. All right, so education, December 2021. We've got not too much else, but we're going to do, it looks like there's a holiday potluck in Franklin tomorrow and an East holiday party. And then we're going to do the whole village party at St. L at 1420 3rd Avenue South. That's from 6 to 10 p.m. And there's a few mentor collaboratives. And then there's a, self-employed retirement planning on December 21st. And then there's really just going to be some mentor programs and then a dot loop class at the very end of the year. So most of our education is starting to come out for next year. Teddy's been working hard on that. He's got some really good stuff lined up. He and Rebecca Cooper have been really diving into that. So exciting things ahead. And speaking of education, so y'all have got to check out this website. This is really good. Teddy Pins has worked really hard on this. He was under the weather over the weekend and lost his voice a little bit, so he asked me to not do a tech tip, but to give him a shout out or do a shout out for this. But I want to give a shout out to him because I'm really grateful for him for putting this together. This site, we talked about it last week when we mentioned it, but it is a one-stop shop at Village Education Online. You can get all class recordings for the last 2 years, a ton of tools, links. So if you need a class, you're like, gosh, how do I've got somebody who needs to
I'm about to do an open house. I know they did an open house. What are
those things? Yeah. Boom. Log on, follow that. You can access it, zip through it. Lake property. How do I sell a lake house again? If there's something about a dock permit, what do I do? Boom. Go to that. New construction. Really, every class that you need is on there. So obviously, live education and current education is a great way to go. But from a sometimes we don't realize we need something until we really need it, and then we need it then. So check that out, villageeducationonline.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your education needs, in terms of real estate at least. So Life List. This is a guy named Peter Parneg, who is a ninja instructor. And I know most of you all have been to the ninja installation. I found, and I thought I'd brought it today, but I left it in my house, but I was cleaning out some boxes over the weekend and just cleaning up the junk. Really, I was trying to hide some presents. But I found my Life List from, like, a printed copy of it from 5 years ago. And it was that moment I felt like I was in Christmas Vacation and I was Sparky in the attic, like looking at old movies, so that I wasn't wearing a bathrobe. But I just sat there for 20 minutes and I was just looking at it. And it was wild to see. I found a pen and I was just started checking things off and I was like, oh my God, like I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. And it all started with just dreaming about things that I wanted to do. So this is a really good time at the end of the year. If you haven't ever done a Life List, or if you want to update it, or if you want to pull yours out that you haven't looked at in a few years, look at it and add some things to it of what you want to do. It doesn't have to be this year. It could be, next year or whenever. Or you don't have to have a time on that. So last piece of this, and then you're going to be up. But 2022, again, lots of family around, lots of chaos and excitement. But I would encourage everybody to take 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, and start off by asking yourself this question: what do you want your life to look like in the next year, right? And how do you want to spend your time? Because spring comes and it gets nuts, right? And then we can start being reactive instead of proactive. And so what I would encourage you to do is, first, in order to kind of define your goals and time management is really not about finding more time. It's about defining what's most important to you. It's about defining your priorities, and that can be in life and business. And I think you can do that by starting with a life list. Spend some time dreaming about what you want 2020 to look like for you. And then in the next 2 weeks, a couple simple just hacks and steps. Add every important calendar or event to your calendar now, right? Well, I don't know what all the important events are. Yes, you do, right? Kids, first day of school, last day of school, holiday breaks, anniversaries, birthdays. You know, if you want to go take your spouse or significant other out to a birthday dinner or plan something, don't wait. I mean, I've done this in the past. You know, wait until the morning of, and you're like, oh, I'm going to get a reservation. You can't do that anymore. So plan that stuff now, but block it off on your calendar. If it's a trip, block the day off, the day before off. How many people have done that, where you get a trip together and then you don't really block off enough time, and you get a bunch of calls and you get a bunch of things, and then next thing you know, you're frantic. Is this just me? Anybody else? Okay. And then you're frantic, and then you're leaving, and then you might yell at a kid or two, and then it's stressful. And then you get back and you're like, oh man, I need a vacation. Well, do it now. Block off a day afterwards for rest and recovery. You have the ability to do that now, and if you block it off, hopefully you can stick to that. If you usually fly to go visit family for a holiday, block it out now and even book the flights. You might find some good deals on a flight. So book those flights and lodging. So if you think about doing that, you can categorize your time into kind of 3 areas. There's different names for this, but there's focus time, which is kind of your work time. So maybe you create, hey, my mornings, I'm gonna from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That's not when I'm checking my email. That's when I'm doing my focus activities. Maybe that's every single day. Maybe that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever it is. Create some time for prep time and cleanup time, and then create some space in your calendar for free time. Giving yourself some rest and rejuvenation is important too. So hopefully you all can spend some time doing that, because I think that's a valuable way to get off on the right foot in 2022.
Cool. Thanks, Zach. All right. Got to get our vegetables in early, so we got to hit the daily stoic.
Oh, the Stoics.
The Stoics. So remember, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So we can cook things up in our head as being a bigger deal than they really are. Yep.
Really?
We only want to associate with people who improve us. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. That's an interesting one. It's really true, but you don't really hear that much. You know, just like
Greatest remedy for anger is delay. Press the pause button. Go for a walk.
I'm gonna fire off that email. Just simmer down.
I had that the other day. I was feeling some feelings, and it was one evening, and somebody was being a little ridiculous, and it wasn't an agent. It was a buyer. And anyway, long story short, I knew that I wasn't going to send the email, but I wrote it. But before I wrote it, I made sure to remove any names from the 2-line.
Yeah.
But you write it, and then it kind of feels good for a minute.
Just don't even be in your email. Just write it on a
But do it on a Word document. That's a
even
good point. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, that feels good. I'm very glad I didn't send it. Delay.
Value your time more than your possessions. You got into that a minute ago. And then the Stoics they're a morbid bunch. Death is not in the distant future. We are dying every day. So value every day, you know? It's like you talk about, we don't know. You kind of want to plan like you're going to live forever, a long time, but you never know. And
you never know.
This week was a great reminder of that. So.
Yep.
Okay, a
Look
little,
at that
little
guy.
lighter here. Karen Baker sent me this. Y'all know Yellowstone? You know Rip Wheeler? Rip? He's the one of the main characters there. Tough guy, right? Looking good, Rip. So if you go to the next slide, this is a good reminder that this is what Rip really looks like.
What?
And so, scientific proof that a little weight, a cowboy hat, a Carhartt jacket, and a horse can make any man look better.
That is funny. There's no way that's the same dude.
Yep.
That's the same guy.
Same guy.
It's amazing.
Cole Hauser. All right, another fun thing. This is exciting. Our very own Shantae Pollard. This is her son. Ravenwood. Ravenwood is a legit high school power.
Legit.
Yeah.
Not small.
And he is tomorrow, as you know, Zach, is signing day for
for
high school
for signing day.
For signing day for where he's going to go to college.
Yeah.
So he'll be deciding where he's going to college tomorrow, and he's got, let's just say, lots of offers, including one from a team that's in the playoffs.
Obviously,
Michigan. So be a great opportunity for him. So be on the lookout for that. But just wanted to highlight Miles. Obviously put in an incredible amount of work. Has an awesome mama supporting him all along the way.
I wish he was a little stronger in his biceps.
I know.
I just was thinking like,
I don't have that vein coming out.
I don't know why I can't make those a little bit bigger. But just
and then, thankfully, how about it?
This guy's gone, huh?
Controversial statue came down last Tuesday. And so this has been up for an infuriating 22 years. I think it was 1998. It was commissioned by a guy named Jack Kershaw, 25-foot statue. Put it on his friend's property, Bill Doris, another.
Not related to any Dorises here.
No, not related to any Dorises here. And it's of Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was the founder of Ku Klux Klan. So this was just right there on I-65, greeting people coming in and out of the city for
It used
for
to be
years.
gold, and then somebody. Do you know the story of how it managed to get? Is that like a zillion paintballs, or is that?
Yeah, it was repeatedly vandalized because people obviously wanted to see it come down or hated it, and he just kept it vandalized, but in in his final moments, or I guess in his will, he left all of his property to two different charities, and the third was his border collie Lulu. So this guy was a real nut, and
So this is a very wealthy dog.
yeah,
Did a lot of
yeah,
land wealthy. He's got land.
Yeah, and so fortunately, the trust, one of the trusts he left it to is the Battle of Nashville Trust left this land, and the executor decided to remove the statue because it was the Battle of Nashville Trust. Nathan Bedford Forrest wasn't in the Battle of Nashville, and the property had no historical significance to the battle. The statue was ugly, and even Nathan Bedford Forrest would think it was ugly, and so after 23 years, it's down, and the city is better.
There you go.
So, good job, Nashville, or executor of the will. All right.
He's the border collie.
Border collie decided. Markets were up last week.
Right.
So the S&P 500. Interestingly, we look at the S&P 500. There are 5 companies out of the 500. So 1% of the companies account for over a third of the gains. So it's Tesla, Apple, Google, and Microsoft, and then a company that supports all those called NVIDIA that makes all the chips. But those 5 companies are responsible for over a third of the 25% or so.
I didn't realize Tesla was in there in the top 5.
Tesla's huge.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Apparently.
Yeah. All right. The thing that the markets keep worrying about, is inflation. And we can just I thought it was worth looking at a chart going back to 1990 to see it has bounced around, over the years, but we've gone through a pretty, since the recession where we actually had deflation, we kind of popped down below zero there for a little while. We've kind of been trending in this under 2%, right around 2%. That's where the Fed really would prefer it to be. Currently, we're 6.2 in October, 6.8 in November, so we're actually still going up a little bit. What that means, what's important to us is we aren't, if this becomes a longer term trend, we really won't continue to see interest rates and mortgage rates in the 3s, right? It'll just those things don't go together. And so hopefully this trend comes down quickly, and it's a result of kind of the just increased demand for goods and services, this decreased supply just because of bottlenecks. We've talked about the supply chain being a mess. So we're hoping that that's the case. But I mean, you've got gas prices up 51%, food prices are up a ton. I mean, if you've gone out to eat, it's like
It is. It's
crazy.
It's wild. Every time even Chipotle the other day, they have this little thing on the app where you can round up to a charity, and I used to round up, and I rounded up yesterday, and I was like, wait, it's an extra $1 more than it was before.
Yeah.
Because it crossed over another threshold.
Yeah. I mean, even like used cars and trucks, we talked about that, are up, while you've got 6% overall, used cars and trucks are up 31%, so anyway, it's just kind of crazy. But we mentioned Tesla, and Elon Musk won the Time Person of the Year. I thought it was interesting just because, hey, we've been doing this since like 1927, I think.
The Person of the Year.
Does the Person of the Year. And it's for a person who has greatly impacted the country and the world during the most recent calendar year. And I thought this was a really interesting quote because, I'll just read it. Musk is easily cast as a hubristic supervillain, lumped in with the tech bros and space playboys for whom money is scorekeeping and rockets are the ultimate toy. But he's different. He's a manufacturing magnet, moving metal, not bytes. The man from the future where technology makes all things possible is a throwback to our glorious industrial past, before America stagnated and stopped producing anything but rules, restrictions, limits, obstacles, and Facebook. So I thought it was an interesting, like he's actually like, he's a tech guy, but he's manufacturing real products that are, an electric car. That's a huge revolution. And so I did think he was worth being the Time Man of the Year and Person of the Year.
So I actually, it seems crazy, maybe to me, but I'd ridden in a Tesla once before. I had an Uber and it was a Tesla, and I got picked up in it, but he didn't go very fast.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want me to freak out. But a friend of mine got a Tesla, and she took my wife and I for a ride in it the other day, and man,
It's different than it's like
she hit the gas or the pedal, and it was just like, whoa, I felt like I was in a roller coaster.
Yeah.
That thing was wild.
Yeah.
Y'all done that? It's fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Good work. All right, so we got mortgage rates. So right now they're just chilling at 3.25%.
Looks like a deal.
Looks like a deal. So it is a good reminder. That's a good talking point. Inflation is happening, right? You see it. And so when low interest rates do not line up with rising inflation. So one way to tamp that down is with interest rates going up.
Right.
And so that's, which obviously also makes things more expensive. So it's a little bit
We don't love
counterintuitive,
that.
but it's, so just a reminder that if your folks are thinking about doing something, a lot of times rates will bump up in the spring. This is not always, Connie, tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems like when there's just a massive amount of volume coming, then sometimes rates can go up, and obviously attributed to other things. But so think about doing something now. All right, 4DX.
Yes.
You received an email this morning with a link to sign up. There's a 5.5-minute
It
video.
actually said sing up, but that was just to make sure you're paying attention.
Did it say sing up? Yeah. I was feeling vocal this morning. That's funny. I've done that a lot. It's like my
It was autocorrect.
obviously, because sing isn't a word. Yeah. Anyway. So, excellent improvement system to turn small weekly activities into big success. Agents who did this last year have had a tremendous amount of success. We have a lot of really great stories. So please sign up.
We tracked that one year, and the improvement was like huge.
Oh, it's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was 20% or more.
Let's do that again this year.
Let's track it.
Yeah.
We'll get on that. You can do that. Excellent improvement system to turn small weekly activities into big success for hunters tracking. So you'll get the email. This is what it looks like. It does say Sing Up. Yep, it sure does. So the Sing Up is live, and And down below it says sign up. So if you want to know more about it, click on that video. It's a super enthusiastic guy who helped create the program. But we've got all the brokers are well versed in it. We actually have a couple of really rock star 40X agents who have. I'm super grateful. They've volunteered to help lead groups as well, because we're trying to make sure that everybody. We ran out of space last year, and we couldn't accommodate every single person who wanted to do it. So we want to be able to do that. So we've got a couple of agents, actually 5 agents that are who've really done well with it and love it and believe in it. And so they're going to help lead groups alongside the brokers. So there's 3 options. There's Monday mornings, Wednesday mornings, and Thursday mornings. We found mornings are best. So it's at 10:30 or 10. If you can sign up for all the days that you, ideally you can sign up for one day if that's the only day that works. But if you're available for, for a few of those days, feel free to sign up for all of them, and we'll help get you in the right groups. So that's good stuff.
Nothing's more important, I think, going into the year than just building those routines and focusing just on a few things that are going to move your business over the next year.
Yeah, absolutely. So Yolanda has invited some cool folks. I don't know your connection, but with these guys, but John and Justin are joining us from the Centennial Park Conservancy, which I'm excited to see. So, John, if you want to come up, sit where Hunter's sitting. Centennial Park looks incredible, by the way.
Looks great, doesn't it?
I mean, the Christmas lights are up, the holiday lights, the bows. I walked it about 2 weeks ago around the lake, and it's amazing just what has been done. So tell us what kind of work do y'all do?
Correct, and thank you for having us. Yolanda serves on our board, so we're thankful for Yolanda for being on our board and for helping us with our work in Centennial Park. So I'm John Tuminello, Justin Tam. I'm the president of Centennial Park Conservancy. Justin is the VP of Development. We've both been with the organization for a decade. We're the nonprofit support group for the Parthenon and the park, similar to groups like Friends of Warner Parks or Friends of Shelby Park, that we fill in the Metro funding gaps. So anything Metro can't fund, we fund, and we also serve as an advocate for the community and for the entire park system. So there's a lot here, but I'm going to basically, you all have a digital copy of this presentation. I'm going to breeze through it in the interest of 5 minutes of time and just cover the key highlights.
So I don't actually know if I have a presentation from you, but I might. So why don't you just talk for a second?
If you don't, yeah, if you don't. I'll hold it up like this. So basically, quick overview. Park was formed, you're realtors, you know Nashville better than most people. 1897, 125 years ago, was the Tennessee Centennial Exposition. The Parthenon was a temporary structure in the park at that time. And the park was formed 1903, first major park in the city. Parthenon became permanent in the 30s. We were formed 35 years ago.
Did they have to rebuild it?
They rebuilt it, yeah. All the buildings that were built in the exposition were meant to last for 6 months. They weren't permanent. So at the end of the exposition, they knocked down every building. And the city loved the Parthenon, Athens of the South. And they said, you cannot knock this down. So it sat there for 2 decades, and it just kept deteriorating. And the city had to decide, do we knock it down or do we make it permanent? So they used aggregate cement, which at the time was a very high technology. So built in 1931, celebrated its 90th anniversary this year.
And it's an exact replica.
Exact replica, the only full-scale replica in the world. And anyone knows, if you think of Nashville, what do you see? You always see the Parthenon. And so people are like, why is that there in the middle of the city? Athens of the South, there it is.
Will this stream in this window too? Okay. There you go. See, we had it.
Good. So you want to flip to that? So that's
Yeah.
park history we went through. We're in the process of doing a 7-year strategic plan to basically look at the future of the park. A decade ago, we started the Centennial Park Revitalization, focused on the master plan, which we'll talk a little bit about. If you can flip to the next slide, we have 4 strategic focus areas that we're focusing in our strategic plan: preserving and enhancing the park, sharing the park with our community to ensure its vibrancy, serving as an advocate for the park, and building organizational inclusivity, excellence, and sustainability. Flip forward. This is what we've done for the past decade. $30 million has been invested in revitalizing the park. We've raised $12 million of private funds. For those of you who have recently been there, the Great Lawn, the core 19 acres, was just opened up completely this year. That was the second phase. We're in the process of working on a new event pavilion and improvements to the Park Plaza side of the park.
There's more.
There's a lot more to come.
Wow, I
Yeah,
didn't know
so
that.
we're in the third phase. There's about 12 phases. So future phases are going to be a revitalization of the Parthenon, the band shell, dog park. There's a lot to come. We're in the first decade of a multi-decade revitalization. And
Is this
so-
the women's suffrage statue?
Yes, that one of the few statues in the country, as most people know, there's not a lot of statues of women. This comes back to the marches that took place from the Capitol to Centennial Park in the 20s. And so if you haven't been to the park recently, you should check out, this is on the new pedestrian promenades.
I love that. I've taken my kids there.
The same sculptor who did Athena, Alan LaQuire.
Oh, phenomenal.
Also, in preserving the park, we recently started up the Centennial Park Maintenance Fund and the Parthenon Preservation Fund. When we talked about filling metro funding gaps, obviously there's a lot of constraints on metro funds these days. It's where the nonprofits come in. And so we help to raise money now to help maintain the park, to help preserve the park, and for the Parthenon. The Parthenon, 90 years old. The park, 100 years old. They're aging landmarks, they're national treasures, and our job is to help make sure that they're here and to sustain them for basically current and future generations, basically the core of our mission. The other thing we do is ensuring the park's vibrancy. So we fund 100% of the exhibitions and education in the Parthenon. The city funds the staff and the building. We fund all of the programming that takes place there. And you might be familiar, if you've been to the park, with some of the programs that we run. Musician's Corner is our concert series that's been
Love
going
that.
on for a decade.
So good.
People love. Justin and I started both working in the Musician's Corner program. We have a children's program, Kidsville, does about 100 events a year, and we recently started running National Earth Day, which is the city's official Earth Day celebration. Takes place, as you know, every April. Big focus of what we do, equity and inclusivity. Most of our events are free. There's a lot of great organizations in town, but a lot of them have admission as a barrier to entry. So all of our programs, Musicians Corner, Kidsville, Earth Day, all free, so the entire community can take part in
But the
them.
musicians still get paid?
Musicians all get paid. When we started the program, 2010, it was the generosity of 175 musicians that all played for free. Justin and I came in 2011, and we made a 3-year plan that 100% of the musicians would be paid. In that first year, we had a $7,500 budget to pay 100 musicians. The last 3 years,
Wow.
we have a $100,000 budget to pay the same number of musicians. So the musicians all get paid, and it's very much artist-centric, making sure the musicians are supported, that the public is not enjoying the music without the musicians being able to make a living.
That's awesome.
There's just some scenes from some of the various events that have taken place in the park.
Have you all been to some of these events?
Has anyone been to Musician's Corner or?
If you have not been, it is like, I mean, especially you got kids, the Kidsville, the Musicians Corner, it's like my Saturday, my summer Saturday.
Every Friday and Saturday in May and June. It was an abbreviated season this year, but every Friday, Saturday in May and June, and every next year, it's usually Thursdays in September. It might be Thursdays or Fridays. Several thousand people, music, food trucks, children's activities, bring family-friendly alcohol, dogs. It's a wonderful
There is a
community
beer
event.
garden, yeah.
Yes. So something for everyone. A quick overview of just some of the accomplishments. I'm not going to cover all these, but finished the current phase of revitalization this year. Raised an additional $800,000 for the next phase of the revitalization. Raised up $300,000 to support the Parks Maintenance Fund and the Preservation Fund. And one of our focuses on community programming is ensuring a diverse lineup of performers. As you know, we're in Music City, but we're also in Country Music City, and it's very easy to find a guy with an acoustic guitar performing anywhere in town, but there's not as many opportunities for various genres, for female-fronted acts, for people of color. And when you look at what we do compared to national averages, over 50% of our performers are female. 42% are people of color. And so there's a great focus on that, both on the artist side and also on small businesses. We showcased 81 small businesses this year. And also with Earth Day, we fund a lot of environmental projects across Nashville. So we gave away 500 trees to the public, and we funded environmental projects in 8 parks across the city and plus at Stratford Magnet School. So a lot of support of both the park and also the people that use the park. We do partnerships. They're all customized. We work with everything we do would not be possible without corporations, foundations, and individuals. And from our corporate and foundation program, we have various levels of partnerships. We customize them to meet the needs of the partners, and there's recognition in various types of marketing. We also have program-specific sponsorships, and we have an annual gala that takes place every November that also raises a lot of our funds, and there's a lot of corporate and foundation, underwriters of that. So basically, that is the main overview. As I said, being a nonprofit organization and filling these gaps for the city and focusing on both caring for these two Nashville treasures, making sure we have a wonderful Central Park, we have a landmark Parthenon Museum, takes a lot of money, and that's raised by individuals, foundations, corporate partners. We invite you to learn more going forward. Reach out to us, contact Yolanda, and basically think about us in your philanthropic giving going forward, helping us basically enrich the community and sustain the park for current and future generations. So
that's incredible. So yeah, as all of our agents do give, I think almost 100% of us give some portion of what you earn. Every commission check you get, you give a piece back to the Village Fund. And the way that we have the Village Fund set up now is that you can direct those funds to really to whatever speaks to your heart and speaks to your what matters to you. So if this is something that matters to you, then you can either make a new donation, or if you want to direct your Village Funds. What do you think the best way to do that is? Just
Susan Turner.
Susan Turner. So Susan Turner, if you want to direct your Village Funds to the Centennial Park Conservancy, it's obviously an incredible place, and I love that you're giving people opportunities to experience music and also supporting the artists. I think that's incredible, but obviously it takes funds to do that. So thank you very much, John.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the main goal of Village Fund is just to take some of the friction out of giving, right? So when your income's lumpy, you got closings, it's like it can just automatically happen, but then you can set it up to where those funds automatically go to the charity of your choice, and you get the recognition for it. It's in your name, and then beyond that, the company gives a certain amount, and we can match and do that through the Village Fund as well. So anyway, that's how it works.
That's good. It's a really vital piece, and I know that I think everybody knows that, but the Village Fund donations have really amped up. I'm excited to see. I don't have the numbers for what's been given this year, but it may be the biggest year ever. I know last year blew my mind when I looked at it. So come January, we'll look at the numbers for the year and what you all donated, because it really is. It's a little bit from a lot of people, and it makes a huge difference in our communities, because Village exists to grow our people and communities to be the best versions of themselves. So that's all we got, y'all. I hope everybody has a wonderful end to 2021. Be safe.
See you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thursday, come celebrate. And you never know what Leaf Fund is going to do. So
Free alcohol.
y'all have fun. Take care.